got me?
You'll need to add them. Yeah, you'll need to add in videos. So you'll go on to that and you'll add in a camera. Just make sure you use it now. Just make sure you use it. Yeah. Do a quick test.
Yeah, you got me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? You got me?
It's about 15 seconds away.
Right, okay. I haven't had anything from you on that.
We believe the feed should be up in about 5 minutes time, but we will still start the game with audio until we can get the camera device working. being replaced, and we expect to have video in about 5 minutes time here at Derby. I am joined this afternoon by Nottingham Wildcats head coach Ben Stanley.
Thanks very much for having me.
No problem at all. Starting five is just coming onto the floor here in Nottingham. For Derby we have Conway, Brown, Bowman, Stanley and Smith. And for the lock picks we have Williams, Pinnock, Dixon, Francis and Bianchi. We will have Reading in red this afternoon and Derby in black. And we are just about to get underway here for Division 1 men's basketball. This is a return to league for both these sides.
Jump ball goes to Reading. O'Shawn Williams with the ball. Pinnock comes through on the baseline on a screen, receives it in the post. Goes to work. Right hand layup off the glass, no good. Now Brown has it for Derby. Post entry to Malcolm Smith. And the high post, now a low post to Charlie Brown. He goes to work, kicks it out to Stanley. Gets it to Smith for the fadeaway, knocks it down.
Foul there early. Had a lot of success with Derby against Reading last year. 2 victories and 2 back to the Rockets line aggressive early and get 2 shots.
A lot of pressure there from Reading, both on and off the ball. A 4 to 5 second violation.
Reading, Williams at the top, looking to drive in on Smith, little bit of contact, but layup's no good and Blake Bowman will come away with the rebound. Derby still lead by 1 early, but Williams strips Bowman. Fast break layup, blocked by, no, not blocked by Bowman. Great defence there by the Derby youngster. Williams just straight out of bounds on the layup.
Yeah, it's Reading obviously looking to put pressure on. Look like they're in a 2-2-1 press now. Yeah, looks like a lot of pressure coming from Reading, and they get another steal out of it as well.
Yeah, Dixon there coming away with it, and Derby had a little bit of problem with the press last weekend against Bradford. Francis runs into Smith's chest. Referee says it's not enough contact for a charge. Smith flop warning, and Francis with a little baby left hook. Reading up 3-2.
Still a lot of pressure out of this 2-2-1. Early shot from Conway. Rebounded by Williams. Dixon's got it, and now Reading are down the other way. Pick and roll Dixon to Francis to Dixon. Pick and roll of Williams and Diankulu. Comes back for another pick and roll from Dixon and Francis. Francis takes the jumper, knocks it down again.
You'll know as well as anyone, Ben, Leo mid-range jumper, one of his bread and butter moves. Doesn't really have the range out to the 3, but about 15-18 footer is money for him.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. That little pick and pop, definitely a weapon for him, and of course he can put the ball on the floor and go and finish at the rim if somebody comes out too aggressively as well.
So Derby trail by 3 here early. Reading again back in the press in this 2-2-1 that's caused some problems, but a lot better that time. Blake Bowman in attack mode. Sort of that last league game against Worthing for Derby, and gets the foul on Leon Francis.
Yeah, it made quite a statement in that Worthing game, I thought. A bit of a statement of intent for the rest of the season.
Smith, jumper off the inbound, no good. But Charlie Brown with the offensive rebound finds Smith, foul line wide open, and you expect a player of that quality to knock it down every time.
There's another guy who can hit that mid-range jumper at will.
Francis with the offensive rebounds. It was Dankalou with the post up, but Leon offensive rebound and fouled, not quite sure who, possibly Stanley, and he will get to line for 2 shots.
Yeah, it looks like it was called on Stanley. I think this will be a feature of the game from both teams. You've got a lot of rebounding on both ends. Diankulu and Francis for Reading, Smith, Bowman and Stanley, all aggressive rebounders for Derby, so could be a real key feature of the game. So again, ball's inbounded, 2-2-1 press from Reading. Derby moved the ball pretty effectively. Bowman has it at the top of the key against the 2-3 zone. Moves to a Brown on the wing, high-low. Malcolm to Stanley and a layup.
Yeah, Ollie Stanley, another ever-present of this Derby lineup. Decided not to kick it out to Conway on the wing for free, which was interesting, but got the lefty layup to go, and there's a travel at the other end. Again, Reading trying to force the ball in the post and get some early foul trouble on the Derby bigs.
Derby look like they've kind of found the measure of the press a little bit now. Bowman again down the middle against the zone. Can't get that one to go against good help defense. Pinnock puts the Jets on going the other way. Nice. High floater off the glass.
That is Reading 9, Derby 6, with about 4 minutes in here in Nottingham. Apologies again, we are just waiting for a second cable to connect the camera up to the streaming device, and as soon as that gets here we'll get pictures to you as Pinnock comes away with it. Rebound team of the week last week. Reading 4-1 but don't find an open shot, and Derby now back in the half court as Reading put the ball down low to Francis. Spin move layup off the side of the backboard, and Will, that's a disappointing opportunity to have a 4-1 and not come away with anything there.
Yeah, maybe one pass too many, maybe just needed to be a little more aggressive with the take.
Derby down to 10 on the clock, ball on the right wing with Conway, bad dribble, manages to save it, finds Stanley, up and under, called a travel on the baseline, and an early timeout for Matt Shaw. Derby trailing by 3, but the Reading press and zone causing some real issues.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you made a good point. Conway really featured in their game against Newcastle. Certainly in the Sunday game, did a lot of work. Not really seen a lot of the ball yet. I'm sure that will change though.
Derby, 3 turnovers early on here. Got to be a concern for Coach Shaw looking into his early timeout, and I'm sure that's what he's addressing in the huddle right now.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. It'll be interesting to see if Reading come back out in that 2-2-1 back to a 2-3, or if Coach Keane chooses to make an adjustment now that the timeout's been called.
A little bit of recap on injury news that we didn't get to before tip. Rima Lascelles continually absent for Derby this year, is not back. Hopefully they're saying he should be back soon. And for Reading, Ben Dixon obviously back in the lineup but still missing Sam Tolawasi and Pal Major from the lineup, so both teams without key rotation pieces, and we will get to see some of the juniors with extended court time this afternoon for both sides.
Absolutely, I I know I saw the Latrell Maitland play, I think, against Thames Valley in the L-League, so I believe he's out injured as well at the moment.
Derby into a 2-3 zone out the timeout, but Williams left wide open on the right wing, knocks down the 3, and it's a 6-point lead here for Reading as we approach the midway point of the first quarter.
Foul call down low against Francis. Smith making the square up there. Looks like Reading have gone back to a man at least for that possession.
Yeah, foul on Francis is first of the afternoon. And Derby coming in with some changes. Josh Godemi checks in for the first time, along with Ashley Ugo.
And I mean, even with Rima Lascelles out, you know, Derby still have an awful lot of firepower coming off that bench with the likes of Ugo and Godemi.
Yeah, Ashley Ugo, one of 2 signings that Derby made from their local rivals, Derby Spartans, in the off-season. Both had great years in D2 last year, and we'll see the first change for Reading as Sam Grant checks in for Lyon. So Reading going a little bit smaller, with Grant being more of a shooting threat.
Yeah, the thing I like, I mean, one thing I was talking about actually with Matt Shaw, you actually have 4 guys in this game who all played on the same East Midlands under 15 regional team together. So it'd be interesting to see those guys get court time, see how Sam Grant and Blake Bowman affect the game.
Reading late pick and roll here in the clock. Dinku Malcolm Smith called for a block. Called him on the arm, but again, a really strong, aggressive move, trying to get to the hoop. Smith trying to take the contact in the chest, but referee Paul Unsworth said his arm came down, and that'll be Malcolm Smith's first personal of the afternoon, and send the Reading Canadian to the line for 2 shots.
Also a heck of a pass off the pick and roll. I think that was a behind the back pass from Williams. Coming off the pick and roll to Diankulu.
Yeah, Williams coming back. Only played 3 minutes last week against Hemel. Sure, it's a blow for Coach Keane. The guard out Appalachian State. All 40 minutes in his trophy appearance, and it's going to be a key side for the Rockets this year. Second free throw, no good, and Derby are going to push with Ugo. We'll get back to him with an early post touch, and Ashley Ugo, early contribution off the bench, brings the gap to within 2. It's now Derby 10, Reading 12.
Derby exerting some pressure of their own there. Pinnock turns the corner into the key.
Yeah, Reece Pinnock, one of Reading's off-season additions, obviously spent multiple years at Loughborough, seemed to have settled in well into his new system, and a player that can do a little bit of everything as Godemi takes it to the hoop, but is blocked by Dinkaloo, and Pinnock will push in transition. Good kick out and finds Sam Grant wide open on the extra pass for 3, but the youngster just misses, but it is an offensive rebound for the Rockets.
Nice extra pass to Dixon. Doesn't go down. Yeah, I think Pinnock might be one of the fastest players in the league end to end. I don't think there's much argument about that. Oh, nice layup there. And Reading will call the timeout. Nice take there from Ashley Ugo in the full court. And we have a timeout from Reading there, score 12 apiece. Both teams will go to the benches to get some feedback from their coaches, adjust the game plan. We're hoping that we've now got the means to sort out the camera issue, so we should have some picture for you guys shortly. Mike's just making that happen. Pinnock, might be one of the quickest players in the league, and is also shooting the ball what appears to be with some improved confidence this year, especially over the last couple of games. So we are just hopefully going to be getting a picture for you guys now as the teams come out of the timeout. Derby have the same 5 with Godemi, Smith, Conway, Ugo and Brown. Chuck Duru's coming for Reading along with Grant, Diankulu, Pinnock and Williams. Williams will inbound it. Ugo putting pressure on Pinnock in the full court. And Pinnock with the ball at the top, guarded by Conway. Williams comes off a double screen. Grant comes off on the other side. They call for a travel. That'll be Derby's ball heading in the other direction. Grant to inbound it into Ugo. Little sagging pressure up the court from Reading. Ugo attacks Grant, pulls it back out, swings to Brown. Brown comes off the pick with Conway. Smith sets a flare, Prim doesn't get it. They get it to Gidemi on the wing against Pinnock. Gidemi drives middle, little running hook. Doesn't go, Duru takes the rebound, outlets to Williams. Williams off the crossover, pulls up for three and knocks it down. That's his second three, I believe.
We should be getting pictures with you any second now. Again, apologies for delay, but it looks like we've got the camera back up and working as Ashley Ugo with a three, and the Trailblazers got a huge spark off the bench. I think it's Ashley Ugo's 7th point of the afternoon, as we are tied at 15 here midway through the first quarter.
Deep steal from Diankulu for a little turnaround hook. Oh, Gidemi goes full court against Duru for the Euro step, lays that in. Pace of the game's picked up quite a bit here. Both teams getting up and down the court. Chip pass over to Pinnock for the three. Can't knock it down. Ooh, big rebound from Sam Grant. Can't finish the putback though. Brown with the early pass to Ugo. And he manages to draw the foul on Pinnock.
And we've seen that block multiple times this season. Reece Pinnock sprinting back in transition, trying to make a play at the rim. This time catches the body. And there will be some discussion if there's... I wonder if they're going to say, did he make a legitimate play at the ball? I think he did. But yeah, all three referees having a little huddle. They do decide just a common shooting foul. So Ashley Ugo to line for two as Williams comes out for Reading and is replaced by Ben Dixon.
Yeah, I think that we could maybe look at the wording of the intentional rule foul. I think sometimes it paints the referees into a corner when they have to call it when the intent is clearly not to make a foul. So that's something that we could maybe look at as a community down the line.
And Ashley Ugo makes them both. That is his 8th and 9th point of the afternoon. Huge spark for Derby. And Stanley will replace Smith, and it looks like Derby's other signing from the Spartans, Ronald Abiria, will check in for the first time, giving Charlie Brown a breather. And Reading also going deeper into the bench with Jacob Katutas checking in for the first time.
It'll be interesting to see what Ronnie contributes. He's a fantastic athlete, can shoot the ball, very strong defensively, so it'll be interesting to see what impact he has.
Ben Dixon's pass off the back of the backboard, so violation, and Reading really uncomfortable in the last few minutes, up to 4 turnovers on the afternoon, and Derby really brought themselves back into this game well.
Yeah, Reading back into the 2-3 now off the 2-2-1 press. Great post entry and high post cut. Stanley to Gidemi for the and 1 there.
Foul on, I believe, Sam Grant. That'll be his first of the afternoon. But the versatility that Gidemi can bring this Derby side is someone that can play really anywhere between 2 and 4. And even if he's on a switch on a 5, he's got that versatility, and that's something this Derby lineup have plenty of this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Josh, like you say, you can plug Josh in multiple positions at both ends of the floor. He can post, he can shoot, really a high utility player.
Pinnock defended by Ugo on the pick and roll, stripped by Ugo. Will Pinnock goes for the steal, knocks it loose, but Ugo collects, and Ashley Ugo first into double digits.
Having a huge impact off the bench early.
Derby up by 7, a minute and 10 left in the first quarter. And Reading now struggling on the defensive end. Something they had a big problem with in the first half last week against Hemel. They gave up 67 and nearly came back, but this time Pinnock with the defensive play. We said he can do a little bit of everything. Ugo with the Euro step, but not enough room, and quite a clear charge call.
Great individual defence by Pinnock there in transition. Williams steps back in for Pinnock. Short break for him.
Yeah, probably that might be the only break we see Williams get this afternoon. The trophy game, he played all 40, and obviously got hurt last week against Hemel, which reduced his minutes. But it's nice to see him back on the floor, and he's definitely a spark for this Reading team. Already got 6 points and 2 steals early on. Williams to Dixon on the wing. Hemel trying to establish themselves in the post. Chuck Daru with the fadeaway over Abu. Hugo with the rebound. And Derby might push, try and get a 2 for 1. Conway in transition, we know he can shoot it.
He really wanted that one, didn't he?
Yeah, but not always a bad shot with the 2 for 1. Williams, in fact, tries to make it 2 for 2 with his own pull-up 3. But it'll go out of bounds, and Derby will probably get the last possession here. We've got 1 second difference between the game and the shot clock. So expect Derby to run the clock all the way down. Bowman trying to get the referee to give him a bit of a cheap foul there, but here he is. He'll use the clockers, and Derby try and set up a last offence. Maybe looking for Ugo to post up on Williams. No.
Looks like it'll be a pick and roll with Demi to
Bowman. Iberia wide open, he can shoot it, knocks it down, wide open 3, and Derby a tremendous end to the first quarter, lead by 10 after 1.
Well executed by Bowman there, knew his options, pushed Ugo through, came off, knew that somebody was going to be open on the weak side, and Iberia knocks it down.
And just talk to me briefly as we end the first quarter, Derby 27, Reading 17, about the spark when you've got a bench player that comes in, hits a big shot like that, how the rest of the team involved with that energy?
I think it's massive. I mean, it lets the bench players know straight away that they can have an impact on the game. And especially, like in this example, Derby didn't have a particularly strong first 2-3 minutes, so it just allows you to change the energy of the game, the pace of the game a little bit. And Ugo's had a massive impact so far. So I think it's a massive key to have that strength off the bench. I know that's something that both coaches actually appreciate and like. Yeah,
Derby with 19 bench points out of 27 in the first quarter, 11 for Ugo, 5 for Kademi, and then that 3 on the buzzer by Iberia capped a 12-0 run to end the quarter, just after Alan Keener called that timeout for Reading. So that Reading, Williams and Francis both with 6. And again, no scoring off the bench, and both teams relying on the young players to step up and help. Grant and Couturis both will probably play big minutes for Reading this afternoon. Derby obviously with Bowman, Charlie Brown having just graduated the academy now at Derby University, and then we've got some youngsters further down the bench as well that might see some time depending on how the game evolves.
I think it's been really nice to see, not just with these two teams, but around the league, coaches taking advantage of the unique situation we have this year to really try and push some younger guys and get them some experience and some exposure. And we've seen some amazing games from Bowman, from Cam Hildreth. Charlie Brown's been playing at a consistent level for the last couple of years in D1, so it's really nice to see across the league.
Right, and we're ready for the second quarter here in Derby. It'll be Blazers ball up 10. See if they can continue this 12-0 run. Ugo trying to reject the pick and roll. We saw a little bit of that last week with Derby trying to reject pick and rolls and get to the hoop. Bowman in attack mode on Grant. Finds Ugo on the wing. And Sam Grant with good help. And this young man going to continue to contribute to Alan Keen's roster. Only 9 minutes a game last year, but up to 25 in the trophy. Got shooting 31% from the free, 12 points a game, and he's someone that will continue to evolve. Just having spent numerous years in Alan's system now.
Yeah, and one thing I've noticed with Sam having been able to be a small part of his journey at regional level, he's not necessarily started games particularly well, but he's not let that phase him in any way, and he's gone on to have big scoring games when his first quarters necessarily he hasn't put the ball in the basket particularly well.
Yeah, that rebounding foul called on Chuck Daru, trying to knock it free, and Derby again going into this side pick and roll. Stanley and Bowman. Stanley looking for Obeer inside.
Yeah.
And again, Ollie Stanley just doing other things other than scoring, and it's hard to call him under the radar anymore. The last couple of years he's put together, but he's again a versatile big, averaged nearly 1.5 assists a game last year to go over 16 points, and he really gives that spark to Derby inside to complement Malcolm Smith.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Oliver Stanley's a great example of someone who's just continued to dig away and work on their game. I remember him being on the bench for Derby 4 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that. Coming on, playing smaller minutes. Now he's starting, he's the captain, and as you say, close to a double-double threat every night.
Reading still yet to score in the second quarter. Currently a 14-0 run to the Trailblazers. Williams looking for Francis on the pick and roll, but kicks it to Grant. The three is long, and it's a big rebound by Ronald Oberia, and Derby again another chance to extend this lead.
Gademi with the three off the jab step doesn't go.
Gademi's little settle on the threes hasn't quite got it going for Derby yet. Has been in some foul troubles in recent games, but talking to Matt Shaw in the week, he said he really thought it would be a matter of time till he clicked and became a more consistent part of the offense, as Francis goes just a little long, and Derby again trying to push the ball ahead, and Gademi wide open lane to the basket. Daru's helped too late, and Reading really in all sorts of disarray early on.
Yeah, and Derby very much in attack mode. Nice take from Sam Grant there. Puts his body in and gets the finish on the break.
And a much needed basket for Reading. 16-0 runs, scoreless span, nearly I believe 5 minutes, and Ugo catches Williams after deflection on the head. Will be called for his second personal foul of the afternoon. And yeah, Reading's last basket coming at the 2:42 mark of the first quarter. So nearly a 5 minute scoreless run, and that's what's allowed Derby to build this 12-point lead early on.
Yeah, absolutely. And in that period we saw a couple of really nice pick and roll passes by Williams, but Reading just not able to capitalise on it in the key. Derby doing a good job of swarming, keeping their hands up, not fouling. Williams gets a long inbound to Diankulu, gets it back. Deflected by Ugo there, goes out of bounds.
One of those angles there that you just had to assume a deflection. I was thinking he hasn't just thrown that out of bounds, surely, but it wasn't a deflection by Ugo. But again, Ashley Ugo involved in a lot of plays this afternoon for Derby, and it's something.
His energy's been massive on both ends, hasn't it?
Williams again in the pick and roll, little hedge by Stanley. Oberia with the steal. Derby 2-on-1. Will he pass? Williams just runs by him. Oberia misses the layup. Really disappointed with himself, but Ashley Ugo, another effort play, offensive rebound, caught from behind by Sam Grant, who didn't really have a lot of choice. And Derby will bring Jacob Conway back in, presumably for Ashley Ugo if he makes both. And it's also Josh Gademi there, seems to be getting a bit of treatment on the arm.
Yes, yeah, it's a good spot. I hadn't noticed that. I wonder what the issue is there. But as we were saying about Iberia, he can hit the three, he can get down the court. Pinnock looks like he's about to sub in for Reading.
Yeah, Sam Grant's second of the afternoon. Ugo misses both, however, and Francis gets the rebound, and Reading have a chance to get this back to single digits. Williams in attack mode early, blows straight by Ugo, straight to the hole, and far too easy, but again, almost a little rejection of the screen, and this game's really picked up tempo. Both teams trying to get early paint touches in transition.
Yeah.
Ugo fakes the three, blows by Francis. doesn't take the reverse layup, instead kicks it to Charlie Brown, doesn't score often, the wide open three not good, and Leon Francis can't quite keep the ball in play and will allow Pinnock and Ugo to check in. Pinnock and Conway to check in for Ugo and Sam Grant. And Charlie Brown last week, 16 assists.
Yeah.
Big afternoon. Still not enough to make the rebound team of the week, which showed the high level of performances we had across Division 1 last week. I certainly thought coming away that Brown would be a lock for the team and probably would consider himself unlucky being on the winning side as well, but Conway has to force up the three on the buzzer. Charlie Brown, though, big time offensive rebound for the Blazers, and Derby seeming to start to control the boards as well.
I think that's Brown's second offensive rebound now. Very smart. Williams going on the ball, makes a nice dump off pass there. Francis manages to finish it. I mean, we've got two very, very good passing point guards out there on the floor at the moment with Williams and Brown.
Yeah, and Reading can't score in the half court, but 6 fast break points in this quarter really helped them going as Conway takes it in. Contact with Francis, good defense, and Reading again a chance to run and cut this lead to 5 or 6 points.
Nice move by the Ankulu to the reverse. Nice finish. Timeout from Matt Shaw there. I think right off the back of what you were saying, Mike, about those fast break points, I think that's probably what sparked Coach Shaw's decision there. And a real turnaround, real quick. We're down to a 6-point game now.
Yeah, and Matt Shaw forced to use his second timeout. No doubt we'll want to be talking about transition defense, but again, Reading with both bigs on the floor, establishing the inside with Francis and Dikawulu inside, and that's what they had going early. Went away with it with the rotation, but those two combined seems to be what's making the difference, where with Stanley and Smith, Derby feel like they can maybe control one.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. As we said, Williams is able to get the ball to these guys in the key really, really well. And they are a force. We talked about Leomi Francis at the start. He's a guy that can finish inside. He can stretch it out to the mid-range. He can rebound. Dejan Kulu there with a really tough reverse finish. Looks to be a similar kind of player. Hasn't shown much of a mid-range shot in the games that I've seen him play yet, but certainly very effective inside.
This is the only early tip-off of the afternoon in Division 1. NBL Live returns with John Hobbs this afternoon from Oaklands as Oaklands take on Hemel at 4:30. We also have Leicester Thames Valley at 5:30, Solent Newcastle at 6:30, and then at 6 o'clock Coach Stanley and his Hoods will return to action after a long layoff here at Nottingham Wildcats Arena as they host the Loughborough Riders, as we get back underway with 6 minutes left in the...
Williams forces the steal on Brown, gets an M1 with an intentional. I don't know if they're going to give the M1 or if it'll be on the floor.
They're going to say foul on the floor before the act of shooting, so instead of a shooting foul and an and one, Williams will go to the line for a pair of free throws and possession. I'm not quite sure which one you want as a coach there. Potential 3-point play or a 2-point play in the extra possession, but Charlie Brown judged for the unsportsmanlike from behind, and this lead could be a 1-possession game soon enough for Reading.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the ref thought he saw a tug on the hip there, possibly, that was what made the call. I'm not sure if there wasn't that. It's actually an intentional foul, but again, that pressure from Reading that they started the game with. Williams getting up, forcing steals. Is that his 3rd or 4th steal now, I think? So, putting a lot of pressure out there. And Ugo checks back in for Brown. So it's a short break for him as well.
Yeah, but big minutes when you make a big impact, and that's what you want from your bench players. Asking for more minutes every afternoon as Reading struggled to get the inbound in, but Francis will go through Stanley in attack mode. Stanley takes a bit of contact through the chest, and Leon Francis trying to get to the line, and great downhill play, and it's a 2-point game all of a sudden. Reading on a big run of their own.
We've not seen an awful lot of the two Americans for Derby yet. I'm wondering if they're going to start to have a bit more of an impact, and as I say that, Malcolm Smith makes a crossover and pulls up from the foul line.
Yeah, and we said that Malcolm Smith mid-range pull-up early in the game that he had. Pinnock in the pick and roll, trying to look for another post touch with Francis. Here it goes. Stanley and Francis have matched up against each other in the past, both on the Derby roster, so they will know each other pretty well, and Francis just trying to force that inside and turns it over, and Ashley Hugo back with the ball for the Blazers. Conway clocked down to 8 seconds. Smith in the high post, another mid-range jump shot, and Alan Keane not happy with the defence. He must be on the scout, no doubt, that Malcolm Smith hits it, and that's his third one of the afternoon, and really allowed the Trailblazers man to settle because he hasn't got his normal post touches early on.
Yeah, and he's such a tough matchup because he can make that jumper, he can make it off the dribble, but he's so physically strong and able to bully people down low, able to attack off the pick and roll, able to attack off the dribble.
Dixon's three was long, and Ashley Hugo with a rebound allows Blake Bowman to attack off the pick and roll inside. France with a rebound, and Derby's transition defence again disappearing, and Williams takes it over the middle of the rim, gives Smith no chance to block, and Reading trail by 4 with 4 minutes to go left in the first half here in Nottingham.
And I think a lot of what we've seen in some of the recent NBL games is kind of a product of the COVID era. Teams can't get on the court as consistently. Time out there by Alan Keane at Reading. More than likely wanting to talk about that Malcolm Smith matchup, I would hazard a guess at. But yeah, I do think it's been very tough for coaches to focus on certain things, and you're looking for things that build team continuity and camaraderie, and sometimes other things may fall by the wayside when you're missing 2 weeks of practice here or missing guys there. So
yeah, and obviously this time not Smith with a foul line jumper, but Stanley, and that's 3 consecutive dump shots down the floor for Derby, and it's one of those analytics worlds. Maybe it's okay to give up, but when you've got people that's their bread and butter is that mid range. If they can't get to the hoop, that's the type of mid range you want to take away, rather than maybe the off the dribble pull up when you've run someone off the 3-point line.
yeah, absolutely, 100%. And it's all well and good having these large scale analytics, but you have to look at what is the best shot, what is the defense giving up, what players give you what points per type of shot as well. I'll take a guy who can make 45% of his mid-range pull-ups but can't make 20% of his threes, and I'll take him shooting those mid-range pull-ups any day of the week.
Yeah, and Reading's starting 5 really the difference in this game at the moment in terms of clawing them back in. So when Alan Keane had to go to that bench, the team really struggled, and both coaches now use their timeouts. So the last 4 minutes will be without timeouts, and Reading down 6. Get the ball back into Williams. 12 points, 3 assists, 4 steals early for the American. Really probably the shining spot for Reading. And
yeah, absolutely. Little Spain ball screen there for Sam Grant to get the pop out. He takes it, and there you go.
Alan Keane, one of the best coaches in the league out of timeouts, finds different ways to be able to get his players looks, and then lets the youngsters settle in as Bowman tries to force it inside to Conway on the post up. Bad turnover, and Pinnock will take the transition 3, leaves it short, and the ball off the shot clock. Bruce Pinnock not necessarily can knock the 3 down, but not really his bread and butter. Kind of surprised he decided not to try and take it to the hoop there.
No, I mean, but I think it's a tough one because for me, he's been shooting the ball with improved confidence. I thought against Hemel he looked really confident in his jumper, and if that's maybe a focus that they have, then you want to encourage him to keep shooting that. I just want to point out real quick the defense played by Williams there. He was fronting a mismatch in the post and managed to spin off, get behind his man and still disrupt the pass. That's really high level defense.
Oberia downhill, and Derby using the pick and roll to good effect.
Yeah.
And again, seems to be a consistent staple for Coach Matt Shaw and the team to get there, and Ronald Oberia will get to line for 2, put Reading in team fouls with 3 minutes, and Derby will be shooting the rest of the way as Oberia's first free throw is good and gives the host a 4-point lead.
And Oberia and Hugo looking like really good pickups from Derbyshire Spartans. Obviously would have been a strong force in Division 2 this year, had we had any games yet.
and they're one of Ashley Lugo's third of the afternoon. Little bit of contact with Pinnock, and you could see the referee trying to let it go, but the ball just got too far away from Pinnock, and to avoid a potential collision going for the ball, rightly called the foul. And yeah, Ashley Lugo's third of the afternoon. A bit of a blow because he's got 11 points, 4 rebounds, plus 15, index of 12 early on. But Blake Bowman will check in, and Derby get back to the youngster. Yeah, and it's a thing we've seen consistently. Solent probably the best in the league last year at walling up and just contesting vertically, but the Derby bigs have certainly learned and continued that improvement, and are one of the more consistent teams at protecting the rim without fouling in the league, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Certainly, the league game against Newcastle, I don't think they did a great job of it. There were a lot of fouls called in that game. Conway knocking down the three, that's his first make, I think.
Yeah, Conway huge from the three-pointer last week in the trophy game against Bradford. His first of the afternoon, he won for 4, but Pinnock turns Gademi inside out and gets the wide open layup, and a foul on Sam Grant in transition against Smith. I am slightly surprised. He called it on the arm. I think there could be a case for an unsportsmanlike away from the ball. Smith trying to leak out in transition, but veteran referee by Paul Unsworth probably had a better view than we did and decided just a little hand check, but Reading in the penalty will send Smith to line for 2.
Yeah, and Paul's an excellent referee. We had him in our Leicester game. I thought he did a fantastic job with quite a young crew. So I'm sure he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, less games this year as well. Bit of a spread of the officials. We'll see some more BBL officials down in Division 1, and Midlands really going to be busy all year with so many Division 1 teams in and around the East Midlands area.
I mean, it's crazy the density that we have here. And, obviously Derby, Leicester, Loughborough, ourselves.
Yeah, with the lack of northern teams, we'll see referees travel a little bit further down as well, as Francis gets the post touch on Iberia, a well-worked mismatch there, and comfortable too for Leome on that little baby hook.
You can't let Francis get to that sort of power box position just inside the key. He's on that side of the court. He's not going to miss that turnaround very often. At the other end, Bowman with a nice pass. Conway can't get the reverse to go though. No foul called.
Yeah, a lot of contact, but Williams takes the pull-up 3 off the wire. No good, and yeah, you can see the Derby bench wanting a call, but the referees have let a lot of contact go down low. We'll say that foul on Sam Grant was his third. He has checked out and probably won't stay in for the rest of the first half. Minute and 37 left here. Derby up 5. Conway trying to attack on Pinnock. Pinnock a great defender, but goes under the screen. Conway just made a 3. Happy to take another, but Reading can't corral the rebound, and
the young fella there thought that the out of bounds was their way when the ball came off his team.
Ronald Akuba, what I say, one of Reading's younger players. Derby, the little triangle action, we saw that last week against Bradford. Alan Keane, disappointing, clearly something he'd scouted, but Marcus Smith, another mid-range jumper.
Alan's probably disappointing because there's about 8 teams in the league that run some variation of that out of bounds play, so sure they've looked at it again. Osho, he's another guy, if he gets to that power box, he's going to finish that layup.
Yeah, Malcolm Smith up to 14 points on the afternoon. We've got a minute left. Smith, mid-range jumper. Francis saying, can you hear it? Or you can't hear it, but referee Asmina happy with the contact, had a good view of it from across the key, and Leome's second of the afternoon, and Malcolm Smith back to where he's just been.
And that's a product, no doubt. Alan Keane's talked about that mid-range jumper. And he's talking over there now to Leome Francis about the play and the defense. And as a player, sometimes you try so hard to do what coach asks, you end up committing maybe a foul like that.
And Smith made the second, probably a good thing, because France, no Derby player in their own half. Leome wide open on the opposite 3-point line, and potentially with a guard like Williams, you would have seen him throw the outlet, but Blake Bowman's checks out the game with 50 seconds left. Derby up 7, and Derby having a good foul shooting night, 12 for 15 from the line now. and Reading will probably go for 2 for 1 to end the second quarter as Williams and Francis back in the ball screen. A little bit of a bad pass. Conway coming away with it, but good transition defence.
Yeah, great track back by the young fella, and there's a good pass. Oh, blocked by Stanley, and then that's going to be a foul there. Yeah, that first pass was great vision, but maybe a little bit too low for Francis to pick up. But again, Sean Williams made some beautiful passes so far this game.
Yeah, they're the ones that hurt you, the missed layups, especially when you're trying to come back from the deficit. Now sends Michael Smith back to the line, 7th and 8th free throw attempts. That's the thing, young player trying to make an impact, but you've just got to know, as soon as someone corrals a rebound, get your hands out the way, don't commit a silly foul. And Derby looking like they might have a chance for potentially even a double-digit lead going into half-time. The gap up to 9 with 28 seconds to go.
This is Sam Grant coming in. This will be an offense for defense sub to try and get a shooter on the court. We might see some variation of a double staggered action here for maybe Duru or O'Shawn Williams with Sam Grant.
Yeah, and for one thing for sure, you won't see Grant driving it on free, trying to avoid any type of charge. Grant is open on the wing briefly, but Stanley covered him. Bit of an unusual mission out for the Derby big, but Williams in isolation. Mid-range pull-up, short, pinning offensive rebound, and then Leone. And perfectly worked. Derby can't get a quick inbound off and won't get a shot off for half-time.
And that's an important basket, that just dropping that lead from 9 to 7. Makes that little bit of difference, turns it into a 3-possession game instead of a 4-possession game.
Yeah, and half-time here in Nottingham, Derby 49, Reading Rockets 42. We will take a break, but we'll come back on probably with 3 or 4 minutes the second half, just to recap the first half. We'll do a very quick preview as well with Coach Stanley ahead of the Nottingham Hoods game late this evening. But here at half-time, Derby 49, Reading 42. We will rejoin you in 7 or 8 minutes' time. And welcome back to the Nottingham Wildcats Arena. Derby 49, Reading Rockets 42 here at half time. We've got 5 minutes left of half time before we resume. Just a very quick recap. Derby 27-17 first quarter. Reading came back, won the second quarter 25-22. Malcolm Smith leading all scorers for Derby with 18. Ashley Ugo's chipped in with 11 on a perfect 4-4 shooting. For Reading, O'Shawn Williams and Leon Francis 14 apiece. Sam Grant with 5 off the bench. But before we get back to this game, I've got Coach Ben Stanley of the Nottingham Hoods with me. So we'll just do a quick preview ahead of the Hoods game tonight against Loughborough here in Nottingham, 6 o'clock tip. Coach, back off isolation, must be happy to get back on the floor.
I'm so happy to be back on the floor. You know, it's a very disjointed season. I missed 2 weeks of practice and then was back for literally 4 days, and then we were out as a team isolated. But yeah, we're ecstatic to be back on the floor. We've had 2 pretty solid practices this week. And I know the guys are itching to play tonight, so we're looking forward to it.
And obviously your first season here with the Hoods, got off to a good start in the league, 72-76 road win at Oakland. How have you found the transition and kind of what are you expecting from the season?
I've loved it. As you know, I took 3 years out. I actually told everyone I was retiring, but everybody knew that wasn't going to happen. I'm really enjoying it. It's something a level I've wanted to do for a long time, but I've not had the mindset because I still wanted to play, I think, and I don't think you can do both consistently unless you are in incredible shape. So it's the right time for me to take over the position. We've got a really wonderful group. We've got a lot of guys at NTU who are a partner with us and really looking to grow that partnership, especially now Dan Watts has taken over there. And yeah, just really, really excited. We've got a mix of guys that I played with back in Division 2 and guys that are completely new. So we're really excited to use this season to develop and see where we can go over the next 3 to 4 years.
And back out of isolation to 4 games in 8 days. You've got obviously Loughborough tonight, then you're going to finish your trophy group, and then you're back as the away team in your home venue next weekend as you start a home and home across the weekend with Derby.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? You know, we're the away team against Derby at Nottingham Wildcats Arena. That just doesn't feel right. But you know, if anything, I think it should give us the advantage. Most of the guys have played here for a long time, or at least the last 2 years. So, but yeah, it's a crazy year. Matt Shaw and I were discussing this last night. It's just so strange. We come out of 2 weeks where we can't leave the house and go straight into, as you say, 2 games against Loughborough in 4 days, and then Derby and Charnwood on a back-to-back the next weekend. So we'll see how the guys deal with it. We'll definitely have to keep an eye on them, make sure that they're looked after, make sure they're looking after themselves. But it's we got to play games. Like, I can't be mad, you know.
Yeah, and just a reminder, Derby, with all the coronavirus issues, unable to get a venue in Derby. So I know the club are really thankful for Nottingham Wildcats Arena for helping them out and helping them stage some games. Matt Shaw may be less happy with the schedule. Basically, Derby now don't leave this arena, subject to how the trophy concludes. If they have to go to Moscow to complete their trophy group and maybe on the road or back home in the quarterfinal, don't leave this venue for the rest of the year. Every game currently at home. So I'm sure this will turn into a second home for the Trailblazers.
Yeah, well, I don't want them to get too comfortable here. Hopefully they'll be able to go back to Derby at some point.
And as we get ready for the second half, just your thoughts on the first half and what both coaches will be just finalising here going into second half with Derby up 7.
It'll be interesting to see whether either coach wants the pace to continue to be pushed or not, or whether they want the game slowed down a bit. I think Malcolm Smith does this every time I watch him. He's got, 17 now? And it's the quietest 16, 17 points. You really don't notice that he's scoring it unless you're paying attention to him at the foul line. But he does that consistently, and I think he's going to be a massive threat. It'll be interesting to see if it continues to be Hugo off the bench for Derby, or if the likes of Conway and Bowman step up and stop at the ball in the basket.
Yeah, both teams pushing the tempo at different points. 26 fast break points in the first half, 15 for Derby, 11 for Reading. Reading are up 10 in the paint. And that was the thing we saw certainly early in both quarters. Kind of got away from it in stages, especially in the first quarter where Derby peeled off that 16-0 run to span the quarter breaks. But Reading 26 points in the paint, something to be happy about. But I'm sure not giving Derby 17 free throw attempts will be something Alan Keane talked about to his guys as we get the second half underway.
Absolutely. As you say, it'll be interesting to see if Reading go back to that sort of kind of right-hand block where they've had so many points. And right now they do, straight into Francis on that block.
Yeah, a little ATO there, little wheel route and a cross screen trying to get Francis up, but Smith good defence, but offensive rebounds. We had back-to-back offensive rebounds for Reading to win the first half, and another one straight off the bat. So it's 4 second chance points in the space of 25 seconds for Reading, and a quick ball changes. Obviously, with the cleaning protocols, not always perfect to get the ball dry, and they're doing the best what they can, and we'll see that all year. So a quick ball change and the ball back for another set of re-drying. One of these 2020 COVID protocols that if we'd said 10 months ago would happen, you'd think we were crazy.
I think Bowman might go away with the travel there. Block on the baseline.
Yeah, a lot of contact and not enough for a block or a charge or a flop warning. You normally see one of the three given, but the referees have allowed the game to be fairly physical.
Yeah.
Obviously, they've called the stuff, but both teams want to play through their bigs. They want to get post touches, and it is nice to have that balance of referees just letting the guys be physical down there.
Absolutely, and I think the refs have done a reasonably good job of calling stuff on the arm, hand actions, but letting the body-to-body stuff go, which I think is the way most coaches and players would like to see the game refed in Division 1. So yeah, absolutely. I think Conway hits the first, knocks down the second. I'm really interested to see how effective this forward pairing of Diankulu and Francis is in the second half.
Yeah, the big thing was for him though, that was his third foul. It was him that was given the foul for Conway. Pinnock drives, Stanley with good hands, and Pinnock catches Stanley on the arm, and again,
that's another area where Stanley's made such huge improvement over the last 5 or so years. He gets the ball, he immediately knows Pinnock was there, he pulls it out of the way. Simple stuff, but something that so many players aren't able to do.
Yeah, we talked about just as we came back, Reading probably want to try to reduce free throw attempts for Derby. We're picking up 2 fouls inside the first minute. Won't go, might come back to haunt them in a few minutes, but Derby for now trying to get a mid-block touch with Smith, rips through, leaves the jumper short, but Stanley with the offensive rebound, and Conway kicks it to Blake Bowman. Bowman drives, tough finish over Francis, and Blake Bowman doesn't still have the three consistently in his game, but we've seen multiple times this year already that he's happy to take it inside against whoever.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And he has that ability to kind of freeze time with his two-step. Stanley wide open, finds Smith down low, maybe got away with a foul, didn't get away with that one on the fadeaway.
Yeah, and Malcolm Smith, I think he's picked something up. I don't know if that's a feel in the game or a little scout, but both the Reading bigs seem to be extending their arms out of the body, and 2 or 3 times we've seen him trying to swipe the ball through and raise up and try and get the contact, and it's a smart move. And now Reading, both bigs on 3 fouls, and that's going to be a huge concern for Coach Alan Keane early on.
Absolutely massive. And that move you're talking about there is the old Kobe Bryant rip through. Kobe's not the first to do it, but he's the one who made it popular. I saw Smith do that a couple of times last year and make ones out of it. He's living at the line right now.
Yeah, that's the thing that they've tried to tidy up a lot in the NBA. The rip through, is it in the act of shooting or is it just the rip through? But Smith seems to have got it down quite well, where he rips through and brings his ball up into his shooting motion to get that contact. And Reading now back in the double-digit deficit, and Brown does a good job of trying to blow up the handoff, and Williams seen off the staggers, but Conway does a great job of avoiding the screen and tipping the ball out of bounds.
Yeah, Reading like to run that little single-double floppy action off of a pitch back, and Conway sort of had it scouted. Ball with O'Shawn Williams now. Maybe down to Diankulu on the block. It's interesting because both of the predictions seem to favour the opposite blocks. The Ankulu seems to like the far block. Francis seems to like the opposite block, the near block to our camera. And both of them like to go down the baseline as well. So it kind of gives Reading some reasonable spacing and some options. Conway now with the ball on the wing. Flare screen for Bowman. Brown pops out. They go high-low with Stanley. Stanley puts it on the floor. Left-hand layup past the Ankulu. Nice take from the high post.
Just been alerted that the stream does seem to have frozen, so we'll continue audio and we'll try and get that through. And Ollie Stanley with the rejection there inside. Loose ball foul called on Charlie Brown, but Ollie Stanley averaged 1.5 blocks a game in Division 1 last year, and I think that's his second of the afternoon.
Yeah, I think you might see him average a shade more this year. His positioning seems to be really good. I thought Charlie Brown was a little unlucky on that one, maybe. He goes to the bench as Hugo comes back on. They hit Biru off the inbound, and they've got a side pick and roll with Williams and Diankulu. Diankulu wide open off the head, good help from Stanley. He can't finish the right hand hook off the help. Hugo fighting for the loose ball, gets it to Smith. Now Smith coming down the lane. Williams gets a hand on it and he gets the turnover.
And hopefully we should have pictures up. So thank you to Tony Shorey, who gave me a quick message to say the stream was down. We should have pictures back as Derby are up 13 with 3 minutes gone in the second quarter. Bowman drives baseline, great extra pass, and Conway leaves the three short, but Smith gets that mid-range jumper that he loves, banks it off the glass, and the Trailblazers extend the lead to 15.
That was great basketball. They skipped it to Bowman. Biru coming in the lane now with a floater. Can't make it, but there's Pinnock at the rim. We called the foul on that.
Believe that is Ugo's fourth.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And it looks like a bear will come on for him. A little swap between the two Spartans.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great basketball by Derby on the last play. Bowman with a drive, kick out, extra pass. The end is hard. Oh, Williams turns the corner beautifully and can't finish, but Bianculu's there.
Yeah, and Reece Pinnock, 3 isn't going this afternoon, so now trying to really settle into attack mode and get some stuff as referee apologised for the late whistle, but I think a pretty clear foul. Williams, no argument, and Derby will get back to the line. This is going to be the 22nd and 23rd free throws, and we talked about it a few minutes ago, Reading early foul trouble. They're now in the penalty, so Derby will shoot free throws for the last 6 minutes 31 seconds of the half, and you feel like Alan Keane might not be far away from a timeout because this game is starting to slip away from them.
Absolutely. I mean, 6 minutes and 30 in the penalty when you've already given up that number of free throws is a worrying proposition. And Derby's shooting pretty damn well from the free throw line as well.
Yeah, Derby only missed the 3 free throws so far out of 23 attempts. Something they struggled with a little bit last week, but Williams mid-range pull-up, and he really is trying to single-handedly keep the Rockets in this game. 16 points, 6 assists, 6 steals. We are on a triple-double watch here for O'Shawn Williams, back from injury last week, having departed the game against Hemel early.
Good balance by Bowman. Good balance there by Bowman to take the contact, and that is Sam Grant's fourth.
Not quite sure who they called the foul on. It could be Grant. It could be Dinkulu.
Oh no.
It is Dinkulu's fourth of the afternoon, and the Reading Canadian will have to sit presumably for the rest of the quarter. And now Leon Francis just checked back in. It's probably a good thing he's got a breather, but he's also on 3 and going to have to be careful, and the foul trouble's starting to mount up for the Rockets.
Sam Grant also on 3, so that's 10 fouls between the 3 Rockets forwards.
Yeah, and I think the foul count now 16-9 And there's not been too many complaints from the referees, which is always a nice thing on the referees front. So probably consistent with how the game's gone. Really, Derby have been a bit more attacking, and Reading just committing a few silly fouls, sometimes 80 foot away from the hoop on the rebounds, and it's coming back to hurt them.
I think you're absolutely right. I think if all there's that Rip who do manage to get his hands out nicely on that, good rebound.
Yeah, just looked at it, but Williams transition, Smith straight up, brings his right arm down, hits Williams on the line, and Malcolm Smith admitting to the foul, no arguments there. That'll be his second of the afternoon, and will send Williams to the line for a chance for his 17th and 18th points.
And just talking to the refs there and calls, I think it's important for players and coaches watching to recognise that late call where the ref took responsibility. That's actually a great decision by the referee to say within that small time frame of a second that I missed that, I'm going to blow it and go back a half a second or a second. I'd always rather a late call than a no call in that situation, so I think that was fantastic.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't see Williams make the first. I wasn't looking. Williams definitely makes the second. We'll just wait for score, but yeah, he did miss the first. So Derby 63, Reading 49. We are just approaching the midway point of the third quarter here in Nottingham Wildcats Arena. And Reading, a little bit of pressure. We saw them start with that early, and actually maybe the foul troubles kept them out of it, but I am kind of surprised thinking about it. Alan Keane hasn't gone back to that press that caused so many problems for Derby early in the game.
No, they ran it for maybe one or two possessions intermittently, but that was really it. Williams Van on the wing. Like you, I'm a little surprised. I understand why they came out of it at the timeout, but I thought they maybe go back to it soon. A low post here for Francis. Nice pass.
That's a great kick out of the mismatch. Leon Francis post against Charlie Brown, found a weak star skip to Grant. The three wasn't good, but Grant on the slash after the offensive rebounds. Godemi nearly put out of bounds by Pinnock. Great defence, but Derby keep the ball, and Blake Bowman may have rolled his ankle at the half court, but he's going to continue. He did roll it slightly last week as well against Bradford. Godemi, referee said there wasn't contact on the jump shot. Grant did well to avoid it, but Malcolm Smith cleaning up, and the Derby big man having a big afternoon. 23-24 points. Williams misses and again the tempo really picked up the last minute or two. Williams mid-range pull-up, this time no good from Smith, and the rebound deflected out of bounds, and it'll be Rocket ball, but Malcolm Smith, human, missed the mid-range jump shot.
Yeah, Charlie Brown was looking for Blake Bowman on the weak side and decided to hit the trailer instead.
And at that timeout, there, I believe called by Matt Shaw.
Yes, I believe right.
Derby up 65-51 with 4:19 left in the third quarter here in Nottingham. Reading not out of this game by any means. We saw last week disastrous first half really against Hemel, gave up 67 points, and that's just not going to get it done. But they did fight back despite Williams missing for the end of the game. They did fight back, so you can't rule out the Rockets yet, but it is an ask with all this foul trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. The foul trouble is the major factor at the moment. They've still got to play another 4 minutes 20 defense without giving up any extra fouls, otherwise they give up points. That Hemel Reading game last week, that first quarter was started to feel a little absurd at one point. I think Hemel made something like 5 straight threes. Certainly Drew Spinks will have been really happy with that start, there's no doubt about it. But as you say, Reading came back. I think they got to within 7 or 5 at one point. So certainly not out the game, still 14 minutes, 19 seconds to play. But another foul to Francis or Grant could be a real blow.
Yeah, a little bit of housekeeping. That and one for Bowman. The foul was actually called on Chuck Daru. So Daru is on the bench, but that wasn't his fourth. He is on 3. So a little bit of relief there for Rockets. But still in the penalty as Pinnock looks to go in attack mode on Bowman. Backs it out. We'll go pick and roll with Daru at the top. Bowman, good defence. Pinnock off the foot. Oberia dives on it, knocks it loose. Shot clock low. Daru from half court. And when we mean half court, that was well and truly half court. Maybe a little bit early with 4 on the shot clock, but no good. And And yeah, Derby transition layup not back, and I'm sure Reading looking for a better shot this time down.
Derby very aggressive with their hedging on pick and roll. Gidemi's going to get caught for a hand in there on the wall. The Gidemi-Daru matchup is quite interesting because although they're very different in terms of size, they perform quite similar roles. They're both utility players. They can both do a little bit of everything. Daru likes to post up, but he still likes to pick and pop as well. So that's an interesting little matchup there. O'Shawn Williams takes a break and Dixon comes in for him. Coach Keen's going to have a word with Grant and Pinnock, or just with Samurai.
And yeah, big rebound, and kind of feels like Reading have dominated the boards in spells, but it's not been consistent. And Derby only won back in the offensive rebound. It doesn't quite feel that way, but
yeah, I think you're right. It doesn't, but at the same time, Derby have had a lot of time. Oliver Stanley tips it into his own move. Can't get mad at yourself on those. They happen sometimes. But I think as well, there's been quite a few instances where Derby secured a rebound and just gone.
Yeah, and that's an extra bonus, despite it being off the ball had come off the rim, so it's given us a 2. Yeah, the free throw being tipped in has given us a 2. So Reading, a very unconventional way of getting a 3-point play. Stanley, Derby in the penalty. So Sam Grant will get 2 free throws.
And we'll possibly have an extended finish for both teams in foul trouble.
Actually the foul was called, it was on Stanley, but on Leon Francis. Maybe not Reading's best free throw shooter. 46.9% from the line last year in the league play. After he joined from Northampton Titans, does miss the first.
Which is somewhat funny considering what you were talking about at the start, that he does have that mid-range capability.
Yeah, maybe a bit of commentator's terse as Francis misses both, and an opportunity for the Rockets to cut that down to single digits doesn't happen.
Intelligent play there by Charlie Brown, using his body expertly. Gidemi can't knock it down.
Yeah, and the Gidemi 3 short, it's a shot he continues to struggle with, and now Francis, Gidemi knocks the ball away from Francis, trying to back him down, and again, Reading, just that missed opportunity. They've got momentum, but just can't right now cut it to single digits.
Gidemi's going to take that, there's a foul there. I think that'll go on Francis. Unfortunately for Reading.
Yeah, it will, and that's Liam's 4th, and Reading had the subs at the table, and I don't know if that was the move Alan Keane was going to make, bringing Liam out there, but if it did, it happened 20 seconds too late.
Yeah.
And now Liam has to sit with 4 fouls.
That's a huge problem for him, because to me, Liam is their best big. Certainly in terms of given consistency at both ends of the floor. And it creates a lot of matchup problems. The other thing with this Derby team that isn't immediately apparent, unless you're looking at the whole squad, is the amount of length that they have. A nice kick out to the Ben Dixon 3, but he can't make it. Stanley chases it down.
Yeah, and Reading having a bit of, well, to be honest, both teams struggling from 3. Reading now 3 of 16, the Trailblazers 3 of 13. Conway, normally a 3-point shooter, decides this time mid-range dribble pull-up from the elbow, drains it, and Alan Keane called his first time out of the second half. Derby 68, Reading 54, with 2:16 left in the third quarter.
Yeah, both teams have quite a lot of length that they can employ, but I think with Derby it's deceptive. You have Stanley, Bowman, Smith. Now they've added in Ribeiro and Hugo as well. There's a lot of guys there who can cover a lot of ground in a very short space of time and make passing lanes difficult, make driving lanes difficult.
Yeah, Malcolm Smith a little bit quieter this second half. Some good adjustments by Reading at half time, but still leads all scores with 24 points, 7 of 13 shooting, a perfect 10 of 10 from the line. O'Shawn Williams, Leon Francis combined for 33 points for Reading. Leon going to be sitting. Williams was sat, so this could be a crucial spell. Does Alan Keane return with Williams here, with Leon out the game, or does he rely on everyone else to step up some scoring?
I think it's a tough call he makes. No, he's put Williams back in. I mean, normally with your sort of standard rotation, you normally probably take the next 4 minutes 20 out, 4 minutes 30 out. But I think you're right. I think it's maybe required.
And here we go, Williams. Pinnock looking for a pick and roll at the top. Kicks it to Dixon in the free. Dixon, little short pull up off the rim, two times, little tip. Gademi comes up with it, and Charlie Brown will bring it away. Charlie Brown, 8 assists already this afternoon for Derby.
And does it so quietly as well. You really wouldn't think that he'd had 8 assists and had the impact on the game he had just by watching the game. You need to keep an eye on the stats to see that.
Yeah, and Williams not quite coming up with his 7th steal, but did enough to deflect it out of bounds. And now we'll take it in the paint on Iberia.
Yeah, so quick. And like I said, both him and Francis both love that sort of right-hand side glass shot. Both very adept at getting to that spot in different ways. And O'Shawn's just so quick, one of the quickest players to get in the league. I think him and Pinnock are an exceptionally fast backcourt.
Not quite sure what Alan Keane was saying there, but he seemed very animated despite getting to the line. Wonder if that's something that he's just wanted more of today, trying to be aggressive and get to the line. Derby certainly spent a lot more time at the line than Reading, 26 free throws compared to 16 for the Rockets.
Malcolm Smith jumps up there and subs in for Gademi. So full court press.
Yeah, and we said we might come back. They had some success. Oh, Dixon very lucky not to get called for a foul there on Brown.
Especially against Brown, who is an expert at making it look like he's taking contact. Oh!
And Matt Shaw not happy. A lot of hand checking, but
yeah.
Oh no, he's saying he's pulled his shirt and he's asking for the sportsman. We don't have a great view of it from here, but something he'll be asking for. But Ben Dixon really changed the pressure there, and we said we thought Reading might come back to it, and there forced the Trailblazers turnover. Williams for three's got the hot hand, no good. Looks like he'll get his own rebound. Deflected and actually out of bounds, I think, by Williams, but the Reading intensity certainly seems to have jumped up a little bit in the last couple of minutes as they try and claw themselves back.
And a veteran coaching play by Matt Shaw there to make sure the ball goes out off of him before anyone can save it.
Derby looking for the post up. Grant on Stanley, fakes the mid-range pull-up. Going to take it. Good hands there by Dixon. 8 seconds left on the clock. We're going to get a wing ball screen with Smith. Smith pops. Conway doesn't look for him. Throws up the floater. Stanley, big rebound. Blocked underneath. No contact, and Reading 2-on-1. Pinnock, late pass to Williams. Misses the layup, and again, Reading just not decisive in transition, holding on to the ball or making the one extra pass, and that's something I'm sure they'll look to work on in the upcoming weeks. But the offensive rebound does turn into points as Grant scores for 2 and gets it to a 10-point game.
Yeah, it's that early decision. Am I going to take it, or am I going to make that pass in my first step instead of seeing if I get into trouble next?
Shot clock off here. Pinnock maybe overly aggressive, trying to keep Conway for a potential 8-second call, but reaches in, bit of a block, sends Jacob Conway to line for 2, and just the foul you don't need. If you get a stop there, you're down 10, feeling pretty good the way the Reading have played the last 4 or 5 minutes, but just those things, and in the penalty it hurts, and Conway's a good free throw shooter.
And that's as you say, if that's a foul on a guy who can't shoot the free throws, if with no offence to the enemy, based on what we were talking about earlier, you maybe live with it. You don't want to give up one of the prime shooters on the court. Yeah. 2 free shots.
Conway 94.5% shooting in the trophy this year.
So that's essentially 2 points for nothing.
4 from the line on the day now with the 3rd and 4th. Derby protecting a couple of people with foul trouble. Charlie Brown and Malcolm Smith sitting down for the final 13.3 seconds. And Reading will try and get a final shot here. Pinnock bringing the ball up. Williams back in the pick and roll. Takes it down to the lane. Foul, I think, could be on Iberia or Stanley.
I think it was on Stanley.
Can't quite tell. I can't just see if that's an 8 or a 9. We'll have to check the stats, but...
you're right. I think they put it on Iberia. I think you're right. I think it's on him.
Yeah, it is O'Beara's second as the scoreboard updates here in Nottingham. Williams now 7th and 8 free throws, chance to break into the 20-point margin, still with those 6 assists and 6 steals. Makes the first. Malcolm Smith will check back in if the second free throw is good. Derby going defence for offence here. Reading potentially protecting with Chuck Daru coming in for defensive purposes.
Imagine they'll bring it off, take off Pinnett, give him a little break, put Daru on for the last little bit.
Reading going into his 2-2-1 zone press, 6.6 seconds left. Bowman inbounding it. Great positive push, finds Conway wide open. And yeah, he's rightly disappointed. But normally that is not the type of play you want to leave open. Jacob Conway, one of Derby's best 3-point shooters, and the press that caused so much issues in the first half just blown open by Bowman, and Reading win.
I think Reading's intention was to sort of fake and jump back on the press, and Bowman just blew past the front line and created the open lane to Conway.
Yeah, and Derby winning the third quarter 21-18 here in Nottingham. 10-point lead going into the fourth quarter. Everything still to play for. Reading a couple of times now look like they're slipping out the game, but finding ways to stay in. The question is, can they make that one run to get them to within 4-6 points, which is probably what the target will be going into the last 3-4 minutes here.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think looking at the way the game's gone, even if Reading can make that run, they're going to have to survive a Derby run before they can then push. I don't think, obviously I could be wrong, but I don't think Reading are just going to be able to make that 10 points up in one fell swoop in one 4-minute period. I think it's going to be a back and forth. But they do have the talent to do it, there's no doubt about that. I think they could actually do with, as well as Williams has scored, I think they could do with him adding to that assist tally, because they kind of need to get other guys involved and find looks from elsewhere.
Yeah, and it'll be important.
Francis off at the moment.
Yeah, it'll be important now. Can Reading stay out of foul trouble? Francis on 4. 3 other players on 3 fouls. Derby have only got Ashley Ugo on 4, and actually Charlie Brown's got 3. So Derby have a little bit of foul trouble, but Reading's depth, Alan Keane probably doesn't really want to rotate more than 7 deep, and with 3, if 1 or 2 foul out, he's going to have to get some depth and get some minutes down the stretch from some different guys. But again, they've got the talent on this roster to step up and make plays.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's interesting. I don't think either coach is particularly on that sort of 8 in their rotation. We've not seen much of the other thing off the bench for the young lad for Reading. I've forgotten his name, but he played quite a lot in the previous game, if memory serves me. Yeah, about 15-20 minutes.
Yeah, we'll get underway here in Nottingham, fourth quarter action. Derby 70, Reading 60. Just a quick update. First quarter in Leicester underway. Thames Valley 24, Leicester 18 after 1. But Blake Bowman again looking to hands. Williams with the deflection, 7th steal of the afternoon for the Reading import guard from Appalachian State. And Reading with an opportunity to get this down to single digits, first time in a long time. Daru face-up jump shot, no good, and Gademi comes down with the uncontested rebound and will allow Derby to set up a transition opportunity. Yeah, little hook, and I think that'd be a matchup he'll quite fancy. Sam Grant, more known for his shooting than his defence. Gademi, similar height, but perhaps a little quicker, a little bit more experience off the dribble, and it'll be interesting to see if Derby go back to that.
Physicality that'll be the problem in that matchup for Sam Grant. He's very used to it. He's got his steal there, and O'Shawn pushes it down, finds Dixon who drives baseline.
Yeah.
With another jumper.
And Grant, little hustle play, got the deflection to knock the ball loose, nearly comes up with the offensive rebounds.
But I think we might see Gademi go one-on-one here. Pulls up the 3, saw that the wing was open. A little scrappy for both teams here.
Yeah, Gademi 3 of 10 on the afternoon here. Daru, early postage, I think that was by Williams.
Yeah, there'll be another assist for Williams. 7 and 7 for him, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, to go with the 21 points. 8-point game here, 8 minutes to go in Nottingham. Gademi, a lot of touches. Williams trying to make the ball, doesn't come up with it. Gademi has to bail out, but can't.
Conway wide open
Yep, Godemi just threw it to the corner, hoping Bowman could get there, but he can't. And a poor gamble by Conway. But Oberia comes up with it, and Grant with a great defensive play. One-on-one, tried to force Conway to go behind his back, didn't come up with it, and Matt Shaw not liking what he sees. 2 minutes 5 seconds in, a very quick timeout, and Reading slowly gaining momentum. This wave keeps coming, but can they make this jump that they need? They need a run to get back into this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a good timeout by Matt. Both teams playing some really scrappy basketball at the start of the fourth, and I think Matt's made the decision that if he can get his team settled and get them to make some good decisions now, they'll be able to get back on a roll and maybe take a run and make this game very tough for Reading to get back into.
I'm not sure if this person in the comments has related to Chuck Duru in any sense, but there has been a request for him to stop shooting. He has struggled today. He's 1 of 7 from the floor, but we do know he's got Division 1 experience. Obviously at Essex Leopards last year, averaged 10 points a game, shot 31% from 3. It's not something he can make shots. He can heat up, and if he gets 1 or 2 going, this could be the difference in this game.
Absolutely, yeah. There's no doubt that Chuck can knock them down. I think I maybe questioned, not necessarily here, but whether you want him shooting the ball as an early option. But off some ball movement, I think, yeah, absolutely he's a threat. And the bottom line is Reading need to make some shots and draw this game a little bit closer. But at the moment, you know, 1 stop here, 1 score, all of a sudden it becomes a real interesting game.
Yeah. Derby, 21 on the shot clock after the transition was broken up by Grant. Ollie Stanley getting an early touch here. Smith, a little bit off, and Malcolm Smith now. Jump shots starting not to fall for the Blazers. Reading keeping them off the line, and this is how we're getting back into it with their defence. Great pass by Williams, finds Daru, wide open on the free throw line. Grant tips it, doesn't quite go. Charlie Brown hurt with his ankle. Referee stops the game, and looks like Charlie Brown may have come down on someone's foot, I'm going to guess. Limps off and will be seen to by Trailblazers physio, team manager, and a little bit of everything in the wonderful Jill Kent.
And unfortunately, we've seen throughout the league, and again, I think it's a direct result of the COVID environment. We've seen a lot of minor injuries, tweaked ankles. We've had several with our club. Trying to look after these guys is really tough at the moment.
Yeah, and to be honest, those ankle ones, there's not a lot you can do. That's just coming down on someone's foot on a rebound. Doesn't matter if you're in the best shape in the world. But Charlie Brown definitely in some discomfort. Trailblazers point guard, obviously the 16 assists last week. Today 8 assists, 4 rebounds. And again, you look at the stat line. Normally for Charlie Brown, you think someone that doesn't shoot the ball, not an elite defender, but a solid defender.
Smart.
And you like, maybe why do you get so many minutes? But he just does a lot of intangibles for his Derby side. His passing is second to none in this league, really, in terms of assists per game. Obviously, we saw the 16 last week, and he's really developed through the academy system.
Yeah, absolutely. And part of the reason you would wonder why he's getting so many minutes if you were watching casually is because you mistake simplicity for a lack of effectiveness. You know, you don't notice Charlie's assists because they're not flashy, they're effective. And there was a play right in the start of the first quarter where he came in the lane and he used 3 dribbles to pause, hitch, go again, and the whole time he's just looking, what's the best option available to me?
Yeah, and you look at it last season, 5.8 assists per game, but only 1.2 turnovers to couple with that. And you'll know as a head coach that one of the first things you look at sometimes is the assist to turnover ratio for the guards as much as anything. You see so many players that average an assist to give or take 1 to 1.2 assists per turnover to game, but to get a ratio above 4 is remarkable, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, this is a little old school, but I was always taught that an assist is worth 2, but a turnover is worth 4. So you know that kind of shows you why that assist to turnover ratio is so important. Charlie being picked up now.
Yeah, it looks a little bit more serious. Didn't look like, it just looked like it was a small roll at the moment, but then he pounded the floor in frustration and can't weight bear, and that is going to be a concern for a Derby team that, without Ream Lascelles, is a little bit thin in depth. Obviously, they should be able to get through the last 7.5 minutes today, but moving forward, if this, hopefully it's not significant, because yeah, Derby's rotation is 7-8 deep, but there are some young academy players that can come through. You see Luke P tacking a coat there on the bench, and we will say it's not the warmest afternoon here in Nottingham.
And unfortunately, with COVID restrictions, the arena's keeping the doors open to make sure we have proper airflow. I can tell you, training here on Monday night was not a pleasant, warm environment.
No, back underway. Conway, 5 seconds to go. Hoist the free, makes it, and that is a big shot for the Derby guard. 1 of 7 on the lot from 3 prior to tonight. Gets him up to 12 points personal, and the lead back up to 11 for Derby.
Yeah, that's a massive timely shot. Nice kick out there. And see, that's the one we were talking about earlier. I'd like to see Pinnock shoot that.
Yeah, Ashley Hugo made all the plays early on for Derby. Another one there, block on Pinnock. Good combination defence.
Great pass by Conway.
Yeah.
Great pass.
And this is the run we were alluding to that Derby could pull off, and this is the run that Reading wanted, but Derby have now got, and suddenly it's a 13-point game. Another stop here, and Derby will be well in control.
Yeah, Francis on the block. He can't quite make it.
Yeah, and that's the hook shot you come to expect from Liam down low. He's made 2 or 3 today, and Alan Keane looks set to check in. His Canadian Lewis Dinko for the last 6 minutes, but right now they need a stop, and Conway's matched up on Francis. Good defence. Chuck Daru knocks it loose off Conway, and that is the big stop that Reading needed just to try and slow this Derby momentum.
Absolutely great timing on that hedge by Daru, just forced Conway into a missed dribble.
Yeah, I can see Alan Keane calling in a set from the sideline, so I wonder if he's going to look for Williams or Francis here to get his scores going. In fact, goes middle pick and roll with Pinnock. Great extra pass from Francis. Finds Dinkley, who's just checked back in for his 9th and 10th point of the afternoon. And a much needed bucket for Reading, but they still trail by 11 with 6 minutes to go.
Conway runs into trouble there and finishes off to the races. And they find Francis coming down the lane. Good extra. Nice basketball.
Yeah, Pinnock deciding he didn't fancy the free, struggled this afternoon, but sets up the pick and roll, trying to get a high quality look. Good pitch back to Williams.
Force him into a tough one, and he makes it. Wow.
Yeah, and a big shot for Williams.
I think he's got the one-on-one, but goes off Ian Cooley's foot.
Yeah, Williams spent more time inside, but he can do everything. We've seen that early on, and his third triple of the afternoon. 26 points personal now for the Reading guard from Appalachian State.
Yeah,
and he certainly looks to be one of the best imports in the league this year, and I'm sure we'll see multiple performances from him over the season that are similar quality.
I think so, and I'm normally not. I'm not normally a fan of bringing in smaller import guards. I feel like we have a lot of guards in this country that can play at that level, but you can absolutely see why Alan Keane's decided to sign with John Williams and the effect that he's having on this Reading team.
Yeah, and all of a sudden it's an 8-point game with 5 minutes to go. Rockets with the ball. Chance to cut it down to a 2-possession game. Pinnock looking for attack mode. Daru pump fakes the 3. And a final Williams probably going to pick and roll here again with Francis. Made 1 3, makes another. And to be honest, and you can't really give someone up that's made one like that. You can't really be giving him a wide open look trying to go under the screen. And Reading's intensity on defence is certainly as high intensity as it's been at any point this afternoon. Derby again low in the clock. Bowman for a rare 3. Well contested by Pinnock, but Smith is out of bounds trying to save it.
And you wonder a little bit if having Charlie Brown out injured is affecting the composure of this Derby team. you know, Malcolm Smith not touched the ball in the last 2-3 offenses, and you just wonder if Charlie Brown was on the court, would that be the case?
Yeah. And suddenly, 4 minutes to go, you can feel the atmosphere in the gym changing. Reading, potential one possession game. Daru on the drive, moves Stanley out of the way, but Ashley Ugo blocked from behind, and again.
That's actually the good help defense from Stanley that allows Ugo then to get that block from behind.
Yeah, and one of the blocks that I thought at the time was credited to Stanley to Ugo was given to Stanley. So is it only Ugo's first block given free to Stanley, but Derby again doing a good job of protecting the rim, but it's Williams' jump shots that's hurt them.
That's good defense from Stanley again. Just reacts, gets his hands up, holds his position.
Yeah, and Derby have a chance to settle it down. They've been using a lot of clock. Conway in the post up, kicks it to Stanley, going to attack on Francis. Obira baseline drives past Pinnock, and no help defense from the Rockets. And Derby back up to 7, 3.5 minutes to go.
And Obira playing 3 minutes, I think, last week is really showing why Derby have decided to sign him. Another block by Stanley.
Yeah, Stanley again, I think, and 3 seconds in the key. I think you got it. I mean, it's an odd one because the shot's gone up, but you could see why the referees called it. Just the ball caught on the key, nothing to go, and
I think personally there with the ball coming out, you can probably let that go unless the rebound is received by the player who's been in there for too long. But
yeah, and again Derby looking for post-ups. Smith, Daru, referees letting both teams play down the stretch, but this time just too much contact. That is the first foul of the fourth quarter.
Wow.
With 7:05 left, and the referees really decided to let both teams play. Yeah, and the thing is, if it's consistent, there can be little argument, but that time Smith finally getting a call. He's begged for 3 or 4 this quarter on, where he feels like he's been fouled on jump shots. Now he misses his first free throw of the afternoon. Malcolm Smith 10 of 11 from the line now, 24 points personal.
It's funny the symmetry these things have sometimes. He knocks down the second. It's an 8-point game for Derby going out, ready for the ball.
Yeah, and we will need to clarify the foul situation. But I believe it's both Reading bigs now on 4 fouls down the stretch. So if Reading have to go to the foul game.
Misses Conway down the court.
Yeah, I mean Conway was wide open, but Obira sidestep 3, lovely move, big shot, timeout Alan Keane, and is that the basket that clinches the game? Derby 83, Reading 72, 2.5 minutes to go.
A huge minute for Obira, played some solid defense, made that reverse layup uncontested, and then a step back 3. Again, just showing why Derby have made the decision to bring him over from Spartans alongside Ugo, and the 2 Spartans having a big effect, 2 ex-Spartans I should say, having a big effect on the game right now.
Yeah, the 2 Derby players, Ashley Ugo, Ron Obira, combined, we'll wait for that, but I think stats to update, but I believe it's 24 points combined for them. On an afternoon where Blake Bowman and Ollie Stanley combined for 12. Charlie Brown, obviously, we don't expect not to score, but Derby 34 points off the bench. And Reading just the 12. And you could probably say the 2 Division 2 players probably have won this game for Derby. The hustle plays, the energy, and obviously the other credit as well needs to go to Ollie Stanley. Some defence down the stretch here, a couple of huge blocks, but also warming up Leone, staying vertical and making life tough for the Reading bigs.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're spot on with that. I think Stanley's contribution, again, he's very much like Brown. People won't notice what he's doing unless they're paying attention to him specifically. But he's challenging everything. He's very, very composed at both ends of the floor as well. Certainly defensively, he's exceptionally composed.
Back underway, Reading keeping the clock stationary, and I imagine we'll see some quick pick and roll, and probably Williams trying to be the aggressor here late down the stretch. Finds Leone. I think he was thinking of dunking it. Stanley straight up, and I have no idea who tipped that in. There was about 3 players, including a Derby player. Did Stanley maybe tip it in his own basket? Not quite sure. Maybe Dinkulu with the
I
touch.
don't know if it was Dinkulu or Dinkulu or...
Good luck stats people sorting that one out. I know we've got a senior statistician with Sean on the table. We'll have to check where he goes. And Stanley.
Stanley with a lovely spin, can't quite finish with his left hand though.
Yeah, and
Now
Reading, Derby gambling for a steal, giving up the 2-on-1. Pinnock loses the dribble, but finds a way to turn it in, and it's back to a 7-point game. Reading just not going away.
Yeah, it's a three-possession game now, and Ugo nearly turns it over. Pinnock maybe getting away with a foul there, yeah, I thought that might be the case.
Referee and Ben Stanley called in the foul dead on simultaneously. Both saw the same thing. Reading's only their second team foul, so a chance to be aggressive here because you're probably going to need to get in team fouls. You probably have to start foul game. But again, that's another player on Reading on 4 fouls, and Blazers a chance to extend the lead.
And Vera turns the corner, gets in the lane. Maybe an and one there as well, but he finishes strong with the right.
Yeah, and 90 seconds left here. Derby now up by 9. Pinnock stays in bounds. Leon Francis tucks it in round Stanley. A minute and 15 to go, and I'm sure Derby will be happy to use some clock here. And you do kick it out Conway to Smith, and Derby content just to burn some extra seconds. It's going to be about 10 seconds left on the clock. 1 minute left on the game clock. Conway guarded tightly by Williams. Little floater makes it, and that's Jacob Conway. A couple of tough clutch buckets.
I think that'll not necessarily see. Ooh, can't quite get it to the Ankulu off a beautiful crossover hesitation.
Yeah, and now a 9-point game. The first time you really see Reading's head starting to drop. Oh, Williams giving the steal. No foul given, and Williams lays it in. It is a 7-point game with 34 seconds to go, and Reading got to be in foul mode, and they are. I think Alan Keane wanted to foul, but Conway kind of got himself caught in a great trapping spot. Reading ran 3 guys at him. Williams
tries to be too clever, I think, holding the ball near the halfway line.
Williams, great hands, 8th steal of the afternoon. That will be the end, though, for Lewis Dinkulu with his 5th foul. 32.6 seconds. Reading still got another foul to give to win the penalty. Will Pinnock give it here? Yes, he does. However, that is also Pinnock's 5th foul. So Reece Pinnock now out the game as well, I believe. We'll just wait for the table to confirm. Yes, it is. Maybe a missed trick by Alan Keane there, knowing he was going to foul. Perhaps a chance to get Pinnock out. Possibly. But again, not a bad option to come back in with Ben Dixon, a good 3-point shoot on his own right.
Yeah, and it also creates
and Derby are going to put Josh Gademi in here for shooting purposes, take out Ollie Stanley. So Matt Shaw, knowing a foul's coming, just get an extra 3-point shooter to come on the floor. And Francis and Gademi having a little battle down there. They're going long, looking for the lob pass. Francis breaks it up, and they're going to call the foul on Gademi. And I could see what he was doing, but Matt Shaw not happy with Conway there. That's really a bit of a forced pass. However, Derby not in the penalty. The foul 90 foot away. At least it's killed some clock. We have 28.8 seconds remaining. Reading down 7.
But as you say, all you really need to do here is get the ball in bounds. You know the foul is coming.
Stanley back in for defence. And as a coach here, you're thinking you must be in a 3, or you're happy with a quick 2?
I think I'm happy with whatever I can get at this point. I mean, Reading still have 2 timeouts.
It's big. Dixon looking for something quick. Francis, little Spain action, looking for Williams, but nothing there. Derby defend it well, and the shot clock running down. We're down to 10, and even if it goes in, and look, 3 massive points, but Reading used 15 seconds in the offence, and maybe just a little bit too much time off the clock. Matt Shaw calls his final timeout of the afternoon with 13.3 seconds to go. Reading do still have 2 timeouts. So this game right now comes down to, can Derby inbound the ball, and can they make free throws? And right now Derby are 24 of 30 on the day, 80%. Jacob Conway 4-4 from the line. Malcolm Smith 11 of 12 Ronald Oberia 5 of 6, Josh Gudemi 2 of 3. So Matt Shaw's got plenty of options to go to here, but also inbounding the ball's not the easiest.
No, absolutely. And I mean, if you had a healthy Charlie Brown, I think he'd be inbounding the ball, and you would have probably Conway and Smith as two of your best free throw shooters in action together, and space everybody, get them the hell out of the way. But I think they'll probably want Conway inbounding the ball, looking at the 5 they've been using. And the other option is possibly to use Gudemi as your inbounder.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who Matt Shaw goes with. And in the truncated season with so few practices as well, with teams in and out of isolation, this is a situation where normally you may have practiced in training, but probably this year there's a little bit less time to practice those because practice time has been so condensed.
Absolutely. You have, as I said at the start, you got to pick something to fall by the wayside. So chosen to inbound with Smith.
Yeah, it'll be Malcolm Smith. So Derby's best shooter on the lot. One of the best shooters not here. Conway down low, looking like he's going to get a screen from Stanley. We'll see what Matt Shaw's drawn up. Conway just a little. And Williams a quick foul. He is not really in any massive foul trouble himself. That's his third personal. 1.5 seconds off the clock. Jacob Conway, the guy you don't want to send to the line. And actually a great timeout set by Matt Shaw. Didn't rely on a screen or anything. Just got Conway just to pop open, and Alan Keane, you expect, will use a timeout. If Conway makes the second here, makes the first 5-point game. And
I think we'll see a timeout, and I think it would be maybe something for Williams.
Yeah.
Sam Grant slipping if they double, possibly, or Francis slipping if they double.
And it is a timeout. Derby 89, Reading 83, 11.9 seconds to go. I think this may be a must free situation. I think
100%. Yeah, I think you need a three. You need a Reggie Miller moment right now. You got to make a shot, get a steal, and make another 3.
Or 2 missed free throws. It's only a 2-possession game, but the way Derby is shooting the ball, the other thing is Matt Shaw doesn't have a timeout to advance the ball, so Derby will be advancing the ball in under their own basket, and it looks like he's talking about defense. So hopefully he's got a go-to press break drawn up, and I'll be honest, I think I know what's coming on the press break, but we'll see if it gets to that. Reading first of all obviously need to score here. Everyone's assuming the ball will be advanced. I think it's a no-brainer. Just having a quick look at the stats. Reading 3-point shooters today. Sam Grant 1 of 5. O'Shawn Williams 5 of 9. They're the only 2 Rockets to make threes. So you've got to be thinking Williams or Grant here if you're Alan Keane. But again, ton of experience at UK and international level. I'm sure he'll draw a set with 3 or 4 options up here.
Yeah, I think.
Well, maybe not for Leome. I don't think Leome will shoot a 3.
I think you've got to expect them to get the ball to O'Shawn, but I think there may be something where he's a diversion, maybe Sam Grant coming across the baseline off an elevator screen, something like that possibly.
Yeah, Grant's up on the weak side of the floor here. Williams curling. Oh, they've gone for the lob inside the quick 2. Daru for 2. 10 seconds to go. It's still a 2-possession game. They're going to have to foul. And I'll tell you what, I think I know what Alan Keane wanted. I think he wanted Leome to double on Jacob Conway and keep the ball out of his hands. You could hear a massive shout of Leome after Conway got the ball and got fouled by Williams, who is now on 4. And yeah, again, if Conway doesn't make free throws here, the two's big, but if not, it's just a couple of wasted seconds for Alan Keane, and he'll probably have to use his final timeout here. With 8.6 left, Conway on the line, 6 of 6 on the day, make it 7 of 7, 17 points.
I think again, if he...
maybe Reading, you can't see on the camera, but they've sent Grant and Ben Dixon down the floor, so maybe Alan Keane won't use a timeout here, and he will push. Conway is good. Yeah, and he's gonna try and save it, and and 7 seconds left. Williams, heavy pressure. Daru's got to shoot it really off left. Conway rebound, and that will do it. Derby Trailblazers come away with a 91-85 victory over the Reading Rockets in a heavily contested D1 game. Before we get into the stats, Ben, your initial thoughts?
Well, the first thing is I think it just shows, as many coaches have said this year, how competitive Division 1 is going to be this year. It felt like Derby might take a stranglehold, and while they had a control for the majority of the second half, Reading were never out of the game at all, as you can see by the final score. So I think it's a really, really competitive league. It's a real shame with the state with injuries and isolation and all the rest of it. It would be really nice to see both these teams at their best with all of their players and see what that game looks like. But really, first game I've been able to watch live this year, so real enjoyable experience for me. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, and I think the other thing we've got to remember is the way D1's now been split because of COVID. These teams will not see each other for the rest of the year, subject to trophy or playoff runs. So matchup, unfortunately, we won't get to see again. But yeah, a real competitive game. It was one of those Derby. Apart from that, Reading early in the first quarter, where Reading had that inside front, that Derby seemed to almost dominate the game without ever pulling away to close the victory. And Reading were always there, but you just felt like they needed that big run. And Derby managed to play consistently enough in the second half that they never allowed that big Reading run, which is what they needed to close the gap.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think as you say, after that initial strong start by Reading, Derby took the control of the game. Reading maybe needed just two medium runs that they didn't get. I think again the defense from Oliver Stanley was a huge part of that. I think he had a massive impact defensively, forced a lot of missed shots. And I think, as we talked about, we saw a huge impact from the two pickups off the bench from Derbyshire Spartans, along with Josh Kademi as well, who put in some good work in that third quarter.
Yeah, we'll just take you quickly through the stat line here. Reminder, Derby 91, Reading 85 to finish. Malcolm Smith 25 points, 5 rebounds. Jacob Conway 18 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, perfect 8 of 8 from the line. Those two combining for 19 of 20 from the line, a huge factor in the game. And then there's two guys you mentioned from Derby Spartans off the bench, Ashley Ugo, Ronald Aberia. Ashley Ugo 11 of 11. All in the first quarter. 4-4 shooting, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. Ronald Aberia 4 of 8 shooting, including some clutch buckets as well down the stretch. 15 points for Reading. O'Shawn Williams, the standout, 34 points, 7 assists, 8 steals, index of 35. Leon Francis 18 points, 11 rebounds, another double-double for Leome. Sam Grant 9 off the bench, another academy player with an impact. But really, you look at this game being won on the free throw line for Derby. 19 of 20 from those two were huge. And then the defense late, trying to restrict Leome, and especially Leome, who Reading went to a lot down the stretch of not getting scores. But O'Shawn Williams, a fantastic performance.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to be a threat every game he plays, and hopefully he can stay healthy, doesn't pick up any more injuries. You see him untaping his ankle now. But he's without a doubt going to be a problem as the season continues. And I do think we'll see more from Reading. It'll be really, hopefully Reading can get the rest of their injured guys and get them back in, and we'll be able to see them at full strength.
And we will transfer Ben's headset very briefly to Ollie. We'll grab a quick word with the Derby captain. Here he is. Ollie, 91-85 victory. Really competitive game. You must be happy to come out with that against a really tough Reading side.
Yeah, definitely. It was scrappy. We found a way to get it done. Feels good to get a win.
Yeah, obviously contributions, we were just saying in the wrap up there, contributions from your bench today. Ashley Ugo, Ronald Berry combined for 26 points for you. How much of that impact, especially Ashley Ugo in the first quarter, give you this afternoon?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think we were down in the first. Ash came on, I think had 7 points straight away. Immediate impact. I mean, yeah, he was big today. We had a few guys come off the bench that were huge for us. So, yeah, he should be proud. How many did you have?
Ugo 11, Iberia 15 in the end.
Yeah, and Ronnie as well. Oh my God, yeah, Ronnie came so much energy on both ends of the floor. So, yeah, they were both huge for us.
And now turn one in the league. Obviously, there's the slip up in Newcastle, but you must be happy with how the season for the club has started on the whole.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, we put Newcastle behind us, but I think we've got so much talent on the team this year. And I don't think we're playing at our full potential at the moment either, so I just think we're going to get stronger as the season progresses. We've sort of learned what each of us can bring to the team, what our roles are. I think, yeah, we'll have a really successful season.
And back at home now next week against Nottingham. Another chance to get out against a Midlands rival that, yeah, I'm sure you enjoy those games.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's a shame we obviously don't have a crowd, but yeah, the stream will be interesting. Hopefully people tune in for that. So yeah, hopefully come back out and get another W.
Perfect. Thank you, Ollie.
Cheers,
We will wrap coverage up here from the Nottingham Wildcats Arena. Derby 95, Reading 81. Coach Ben Stanley in action in just under 2 hours for the Hoods, hosting against Loughborough. And you can catch that game on the live stream. Is it going to be on Hoods or BE? Do you know?
I believe it's on BE off the top of my head, but it's not been my first concern this week. So if I'm wrong, you'll definitely be able to find it on Nottingham Hoods.
So thank you very much here from Nottingham Wildcats Arena, and we will speak to you again next week.